So Keinga would store food for upwards of 5 years without use of pesticides. Once you food your food, you would seal it, all these spaces, you would seal with cow dung. Then you mix the food with pepper. You put pepper on top, you put pepper down, then you seal all this with cow dung. That food will remain fresh for upwards of 5 years. No pesticides. If you want to remove, then you would make a small cutting on the side, take as much as you want, then you return that piece and seal it again with cow dung. You are good to go. So without use of pesticides, we could store food for 5 years and above. And we never had diseases anyway. Cancer, what. Surely this made our forefathers live very long because they didn't come into contact with any pesticides, because here you would only put cow dung and ash and you are good to go.
What's the name?
Zinga. These are all zinga.
So it's made of reeds?
You make it with grass and some certain plants that cannot be affected by insects. You know, there are insects that invest wood. So they put a certain plant like Movela, which is bitter to insects. So insects won't attack it. Even the grass is special. So it can live for many years. Yeah, it's a technology that I don't know where they landed. So now we come to the hut. Up. Then the grass did not touch the ground. This was for the purposes of ventilation. So this hut remains, when it is very hot, it's not affected. When it is cold, it retains some warmth. So you have no problem. But here they would use thorn branches from Mudia so that snakes and other things would not access it. Inside, I don't know whether some of you will come in. You can bend. From this side, you had your water on this water pot. You stabilize it with then you block it with a calabash. This water stayed cold all through. No need for I need cold water. This water stayed cold. Then you have the cooking area. And the 3 stones here, you can cook your food. And this is called Ketue Cheta. This is where the man would have his bow. You stay happy. Your soul stays clean. You don't wish anybody any bad. You don't talk anything ill to anybody. And after those 7 days now, you can approach here. And to approach here, 3 people would come. Because if you're the sin, you will be struck dead. Something would kill you. So these other 2 guys are to remove you.
If you die.
The Holy of Holies if you die. So they needed to be 3.
In case of an in case.
In case you were not holy or the spirits were annoyed with you, then they would kill you. Then you would be carried by those 2 other guys and they remove you. And nobody would question about your death. They would know that you annoyed God. And that is why you were punished.
That is something that happened.
It has happened, yes. In another shrine across from here called Mwangali Shrine.
Which year?
That was 1940 something. There's somebody who died in that shrine. He had gone to offer sacrifice against the advice of the elders. Yes. And he died. So it happened. But this one is deactivated. That's why I'm standing very near. And you are here. So this knife, there's a knife embedded here on the tree. It was left here in 1956. That was the last time they worshipped.
1956.
It was I think, is it 50? When the state of emergency was declared, is when they last worship sacrificed here. And if you leave something in the shrine, normally you don't go back for it. So it was left there, it grew, the handle fell off, but the knife is still embedded on the tree. So it still remains there because they never came back after the state of emergency was announced. They went to worship up the hill. So this knife remains. The shrine has been deactivated. If we want, we can reactivate it.
What is the work of that knife?
It was for slaughtering the animal for sacrifice. Yeah.
I have another question.
Yes.
How do you deactivate it?
You come and inform the ancestors that this will no longer be a place of worship. Then you slaughter a goat. Then you play some music. Then from there, you move them. They were moved up Moon Hill. The spirits that used to dwell here, they were shifted by elders. They informed them, then they shifted them and took them to another shrine. So they can go for them and bring them back and tell them. No, you don't see them, but you feel the presence, because once they debate and everything, somehow the tree would shake a little bit, and they would know now those guys are still around to tell them, yes, we have received, and they will do whatever.
Have you been to a shrine yourself?
Yes.
And you feel
at a distance.
And you see you've been able to witness firsthand.
Let me tell you, when we were opening this center, it was during the dry season. So when these guys came to deactivate, it rained briefly, just this area. People were shocked. They said the sign that 20 Mulonzia, where is Mulonzia? Yeah. Mulonzia, you unakumbuka hiyo mvua? Yeah. Yeah, mvua ilikuja. Ikanyesha for like 1 minute na ikaisha. Was it when they held the calabashes now? It rained and it stopped. And there was one man, the one who made me an elder was here. The ones who told me to take care of this culture. So I'm not just doing a simple duty. It's a duty given by elders.
How do you, are you able to make people elders?
No, myself I cannot.
But there are people that...
The elders can. Me, I have not reached that level.
How many years should the elder be, someone achieve to be an elder?
Yes, they don't count years, they count what you have done for the community. For me, when they heard that I am putting the culture of the Akamba people together, and they sent somebody, I didn't know the person. There are some men who came here, I talked to them what I'm doing, I explained everything. They started taking note. So one time they sent somebody and they told me, we want you to attend a certain ceremony.
So you can become an elder at 20 years?
Yes, you can, if you have done something good for the community. If, yes?
Become away from an elder.
The office of the first lady
of the elder.
If she stops receiving monthly period, she can accompany elders to the shrine. And some of them can even go to the shrine themselves if they don't experience that.
So you know the process, this process of coming here, worshipping and doing this?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that one I do. I have been told how to bless. I've been given the power to bless and to curse. But many times you don't, they told us never to curse anybody. Because if you do, the repercussions will be terrible to that person. So you just keep quiet. So many times when people, even on online, when people insult me, I just delete the post and I just say, bless you, and I just delete it. Because I can't speak. For if I speak, it is going to be really terrible.
When are you planning
To activate, it's deactivate.
To reactivate.
Once we finish everything,
you will reactivate?
we will reactivate.
Who will become an elder?
Of course, the ceremonies.
The elders.
The same ones who took the...
Of course. Of course.
I just want to confirm that from the government perspective.
Yes, please.
We are very keen to ensure that some of these cultures are maintained.
Yes.
Because this is part of what should not be lost.
Yes.
And if we don't take, if we take too long, we are likely to lose this particular culture. So as a government, we are committed to really work with you and ensure that we maintain some of these important cultures.
Thank you. I can confirm that because I remember with the director, we went around mapping all the shrines. We put the GPS coordinates and they are preserved.
How many are they?
There are many. I think from this area, we have Mwangale, we have this one, we have Mulala, we have Chemundu. We had 7 on this area. But each is for different things. The one near here, about 500 meters from here, was for disasters.
Do you have one that is active?
The Chemundu one is active. There is another one active in Mali, the one that protects Keno. That one you can't go near. We had instructions not to go nearby because it is very active.
What is Keno?
Keno is a land that is contested. in a Mali. So there are some elders who normally go there. When there's a lot of talk about it being grabbed, they just go there. So the last person who was there, there are guys who built an office, and they were told, please don't build an office there. They refused. So elders went, sacrificed, and left. That night, this guy ran all the way to a Mali. He was being caned by unseen people. He ran to a Mali naked and boarded a vehicle and went home and never came back to his people. Another guy cut a piece of land and they said he's going to farm there. In broad daylight, the oxen and the plow sank. They are still there up to date. They went and disappeared. So nobody dares joke. There's a small lake. It's also, we also took coordinates. There's a lake that was, the elder said should always remain for the purposes of animals to drink. So anybody who interferes with it,
Kaput.
you will not last.
So now you're not supposed to come close to this
Yeah, when it is active.
when it is active.
Yes.
Now I'm just thinking after you activate,
Yes.
you're going to move this building now.
No. We will just fence it off. Like you can, no, there are no. We just put a safe distance and leave the forest overgrow, and then we leave away because that was the belt. Women would come to that big tree there and leave their baskets with food. And what you leave in your basket is fertility of crops. There is what you would leave for your own fertility. There is what you would leave for fertility of animals. Then when the elders were picking the baskets, they would know what prayers you wanted. Then once they get here, then they would offer those prayers. Then from there, they would go and make the Kelume dance to appease the ancestors now so that the prayers can be received.
So is it that they believe God lived here?
This was their central point for the spirit, not God lived here. The spirit that would convey the messages.
The angels.
God.
We can call them angels.
But they believed in God.
Of course, the Mulungu.
Mulungu.
Ngai Mulungu. There is Mulungu,
Mwatwangi.
Mumbi na Mwatwangi. Mwatwangi is Kwatwanga is to split these fingers. He who split the fingers. He who created you. Mumbi. Creator. So they believed in that.
So how are you prepared to handle the conflict between this and today's Christianity?
One, let me not talk about Christianity. That's somebody's culture. Our culture is this one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Christianity is somebody else's culture. And the Akamba used to say, if you abandon your culture or your place, you will never prosper in another man's culture. That's why we are being told that you can marry another man. That was quite... Let's not discuss that. That's not our culture. I'll not waste my time with another culture I do not want to understand or I don't understand. So for us, we were straight. So when you talk Christianity, it's people who have chosen to follow other people's culture. And to the chagrin and the disgrace of abandoning their culture.
So why do you think so many people abandoned this culture and followed Christianity? Is it that they were forced or what?
It was, if you passed Kalamba, one, when Christianity was brought, it was forced into us. Nobody went there willingly. Because one, we were told to stop keeping bees because honey would be used to make beer for libation. People were banned from planting sugarcane. They were banned from planting wimbe because all these things would be used for worship. So when the Muzungu came, he banned anybody coming to the church from doing those things because the core of resistance was in religion. So if you destroy religion, you can easily control anybody. So it was destroyed completely. So you think you are going to heaven? Do you think our forefathers who came before us are in hell? Because they no, I'm asking, our forefathers who came before us, are they now in hell because they were born early? They are not. Why, if surely the Messiah, why did he wait for so many years to come? We were here before Christ. 1800 is when Christianity came. What were we doing? We were doing many things. We were doing very well. We were very organized. So come these guys and they tell you now, one, they were fearing our population. So they said, marry one wife. Or you go to hell. They started destroying because they didn't want numbers.
Yes.
So they said, marry one wife so that you go to heaven to sing forever with angels. One thing happened, that made people question and discover that this was a ploy. Because one time, some elders were in the village, and there was the white men had come rounding up people looking for poll tax. Then among the people who were beating people was the local priest, who was a Mzungu. So this elder man asked him, even you priest, I thought you talked about... He was told, let me not hear this story or you will be dead. So kindly, this was a scam to steal resources. Nothing else.
I have another question.
Yes, please.
Let's also wind down, guys. We
Yep.
have an
The final question from my side.
Yes, please.
Tell us about Lungo and how Kamba is just
Teleportation.
Yes, and
We are going to...
wait a minute.
Yes,
Is it possible
yes.
to recover that loss?
Yes, it will be possible because there is a professor, we are working on that. And we have identified a guy who can teleport with that basket. He can move from place to place. Even here in the village, we had a lady who could move. There's a day she flew to Makindu and back. She's still alive, and we are trying to sweet talk her. She has a piece of cloth that she sits on. Then she can move from here to Makindu, have tea with the people, then come. People will call and say she's here. Then after 5 minutes, you see her in a Mali. Then teleportation.
Me, I would love to do that.
So we are going. There is a professor. We have decided to go and set up an experiment. That I plant my cameras. Then the professor goes on the other side. Then I tell this guy, can you move? Then I start timing. The time he appears on the other side, we check the timings. Then we are able to know what distance is it. But it normally takes less than less than a minute. Nothing takes more than a minute. You are here, you are there. So you can imagine what that can do for pollution, motor vehicles. If you want to move,
It's green.
I talk to you here and I appear in Nairobi immediately.
And to the economy.
And to the economy. We will never be held captive by oil producing countries.
Tunakwambia nakuja Mombasa sasa
No,
hivi.
this is the revolution. So once I discover that, so I will just make lungos. There is a local lungo for flying across the country. There is a lungo for Africa and a lungo for New York. If you want to go to the US, you just sit on it and you say New York.
No visa.
No visa, people will just find it. No, it's book. So you will just find yourself, if you have a son in the US, you tell them, I'm joining you for dinner. I will come back. Then they see you there, you sit, you enjoy, then you come back home. Your wife is just there.
Ainama America.
Anataka kindumu kwenda America. Kuna kitu munataka from Dubai. I'm going now and I'll be back in the next 30 minutes. So that's a technology that I saw when I worked in Zanzibar. And that's why I'm following that. Once I finish this, I will dedicate my efforts to track that, to experiment and to document.
Don't wait for so long. Just do.
Yeah, because the guy is aging, the one who has the ungo, because he can fly all over. So that is, if we get that, my brother, I will just sit here and start selling those baskets. One basket. Because you buy a car at 2 million, and you need service, you need fuel, you need... This one, you only hang it there.
And you need energy.
And the accidents will no longer be there.
Watapatana huko juu.
Because iko na sensors. You will not knock on anybody. Yeah, you will not knock on anybody. Let's see our accommodation is. Yeah, it's dangerous. There are pieces of iron. So you grab the sugar again, crush it, remove the juice, and then you make beer. It's called a milli. Like mill.
Emili.
Like mill. The word mill.
Yani kumila.
Kumila. Hiyo ni mill. Ndio tuko na wake kala. Keka umo gani yake.
Yumejengo yo.
Oyo.